Mike Moore Media.
My friend Debbie Moose in Raleigh is on the line. Debbie is a food writer, cookbook author, and she's with us now for our monthly segment. Hey, Debbie, welcome back.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing just great. Well, it's always good to have you on the program. I know we're talking about, and I have a prop here. There we go.
Oh yes, I hear.
Let me have it. Let me have a sip here. Oh, that's so good. What are we talking about today, Debbie?
Well, ice clinking, that could be bourbon, but I think we're talking about iced tea.
We are talking. It's National Iced Tea Month.
Well, every month is iced tea month, around these parts.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we are drinking a lot of iced tea these days, but we went for years here at home with no iced tea. Somehow Annette quit making it. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, and we just never had that here at home for a long time. And something just, maybe she was looking ahead to National Iced Tea Month, but just, I don't know, recently she said, I think I'll start making iced tea again. I said, that's great. So we are putting it away. Let me have another sip. Oh, that's so good.
Sweet
okay.
or unsweet?
Sweet, and lots of lemon, fresh lemon.
Well, that's a good balance. Well, I think in the last few years, like 3 or 4 years, you can see all these bottled iced tea on the shelves and things like that because people started thinking about tea's health benefits and all those things, and that it is an alternative to soft drinks. Sometimes it's not much less sweet than soft drinks. But you start seeing all these bottled iced teas on the shelves and things like that. And so there's kind of a general popularity in it. And people think of iced tea as being southern iced tea. It really is. It's not exclusively southern. And I looked into the history a little bit. Excuse me. And of course, in the 18th century, South Carolina had the first tea plantation in the country.
Okay.
And so that may have led to a little bit of use of it, but then you go up into the 19th century, and iced tea was being served, all over the north, all over different regions. And if you think about it, a whole lot easier to get ice in the north than in the south until we had refrigeration.
Oh yeah.
So,
but up north,
it kind of goes along with refrigeration. The popularity sort of parallels the growth of refrigeration.
I see. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, up north though, you end up not getting sweet tea a lot of times.
Most of the time, it used to be that way that you just never got sweet tea in the north, and also there's the refills issue.
Oh yeah,
they don't always. In northern cities, they don't always recognize our God-given right to as many refills as we want.
That's true.
My husband and I, this was a long time ago, this was maybe 30 years ago, we went to the Boston area, and we'd gone out on one of those whale-watching tours or something, and we came back and we were hot and everything, and we ordered iced tea, and then we want a refill, Or they charge for every glass that we got.
That's just not right.
Our beverage bill is up as being as big as our bill.
If you're really thirsty, that can add up.
Yeah.
Well, that's just wrong.
And the interesting thing is sweet tea. People talk about Southern tea. Oh, Southern tea is so sweet. It'll rot your teeth out. It's like chewing on rock candy. Why would that have been? And no one really knows for sure, as far as I can tell, why sweet tea became so prevalent in the South. It may be because, of course, the Deep South had sugar production, sugarcane. It may be that sugar before refrigeration was somewhat of a preservative. That may be a reason.
Okay.
But I found what I like as a good reason in Holy Smoke, which is a wonderful book on North Carolina barbecue by John Shelton Reed and his wife Dale. they have a whole chapter called Something to Drink with that, and iced tea is prominent in there.
Okay.
And if you think about when you go to barbecue places, it's always the super sweet tea. And think about the salty business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we like peanuts in our Coca-Cola. We like, you know, the sugar and salty. Feta cheese on watermelon. The sugar and salty is a classic combination that our taste buds go bananas for.
Oh, yeah.
And barbecue is spicy and rich and tangy if it's northeastern. So that sweet tea just blends right in with that spiciness. It really balances it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah.
And in the early days, of course, South was the Bible Belt, and you didn't have alcohol at barbecue joints.
Mm-hmm.
So beer was not an option.
No.
And can you really see drinking a hot cup of coffee with barbecue? I really can't.
No, I'm not going there. Now we're talking about sweet tea. You know, I don't like it really, really sweet either. You know, a lot of people I see when you're out and about in a restaurant, they do half and half.
Yeah, that's what my husband and I do these days. Because I mean, we're old. We've cut back on our sugar.
Yeah.
Or even I think it's called the Arnold Palmer, where you mix lemonade and iced tea. I think, isn't that called an Arnold Palmer?
I think so. I've heard that term. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, lemon. A lot of lemon. You know, lemon is something that balances it out. I don't like to use a lot of lemon in mine. My husband really likes a lot of lemon.
Oh, I do too.
In his. And of course, you can use a little bit of mint. You can really do anything with it. Vivian Howard has a good recipe in her cookbook for watermelon iced tea, where basically it's watermelon pulp that's pureed and drained, and you mix it with the iced tea.
Mm-hmm.
And people get really agitated about how to make it. My college roommate used to use what appears to be the old traditional Southern method, which she would throw like, God, I don't know, 6 or 8 tea bags in a saucepan of water, and hot water, and then let that sit there covered, and then pour. I mean, she made some iced tea that you could cut off, and serve in humps. But when you think about it, I mean, you're going to dilute it with ice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't make mine quite that strong because I think it can get bitter.
Yeah.
But still, you need it plenty strong so you can taste it when it's been diluted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, not too many years ago, it seemed to be a craze that people were making it in pitchers and sitting it out in the sun and doing all that kind of stuff. Do people still do that?
The sun tea, have you ever had it? It's really good.
I have, but not recently, no.
And what I like about it, I mean, you just, a glass pitcher, and you put the tea bags and the water and everything in there and just put it where the direct sun's going to hit it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it comes out a little bit like cold brew coffee. The bitterness is gone.
Okay.
There's no bitterness to it.
Mm-hmm.
You can accomplish the same thing. Well, it takes longer. You could do it in the refrigerator, but it's going to take a lot longer. Sun tea will take less time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really wonderful flavor because any bitterness that black tea may have is just not there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course, you can use other kinds of teas, and it looks like historically, originally, it was iced tea was made with green tea.
Oh, okay.
But then, there are various political things going on, and by the 19th century, it had been mostly black tea, and that seems to it. Commonly, when you think of iced tea, you think of black tea, but again, you can purchase the bottled iced green teas and things like that, and you can certainly make it out of. I've made it from green tea. It's very refreshing, and I feel like I don't feel the need for as much sugar with green tea for some reason. I guess because I'm more accustomed to sweet being in the other kind of tea.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at one time I was drinking a lot of green tea, and it's a name brand, and I thought this is nice and healthy. And then I read the label one day, and I thought, wait a minute, I don't I don't need all this stuff that it has in it. So I went cold turkey there and quit drinking green tea for the most part.
You have to be very careful with the bottled tea products
Yeah.
because they often have a lot of sugar, a lot of preservatives and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's only very few bottled teas that I'm willing to drink, and that's only in like an emergency basis. Like if we're going to the beach and I know that the water's not good, or I don't want to have to be making tea every day, I'll get some to take. But it's so easy to make it yourself. I mean, there's green tea bags or even loose teas widely available in grocery stores now. And the green tea, you don't want to, I don't like to steep it as long to make sure that there's not going to be any bitterness. You know, I've never tried doing sun tea with green tea. That's an idea. I'm going to try that.
Okay, all right.
And you can make tea out of all kinds of other things. I mean, of course, fresh mint or dried mint, even ginger. You ever had ginger tea?
I'm not a big ginger fan, but I have had that,
Okay.
yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But just slices of fresh ginger and some lemon and just steep that the way that you would tea.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There is, actually in the summer, I've gotten a little bit hooked on this. This is a beverage that's popular in Japan and Korea. It's a tea, but it's made from roasted barley. It's called muga chai.
Muga chai.
Muga chai.
Oh, okay.
And I have to buy it usually at an Asian market, but it comes in bags, packets, just like tea, but it's a packet of roasted barley.
Mm-hmm.
And that you steep in the refrigerator for a few hours, and then remove the bag so it won't get overly steeped. And then I just keep it in the refrigerator, and it's very refreshing on a hot day. Of course, there's no sugar in it. It's a savory flavor as opposed to tea being a little bit of we perceive it as a sweeter flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
And it's really different, and it's really refreshing. My husband's gotten hooked on it. Now it's getting hot. I need to make a trip over there and get a couple boxes of it.
Yeah, muga chai.
Mugicha, muga cha.
Muga cha.
You can probably order it too, but it's just roasted barley tea, and it's really different and flavorful.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And of course, you can always just put some. You can make lemon. You can make the lemonade, the half and half lemonade, and tea is always good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the important thing is don't store it for too long.
No, we don't store it long.
Because it gets gone.
We drink it pretty quickly. Yeah.
The most I'll keep it. Most I try to keep it is like 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a little bit left from dinner, I'll stick it in the refrigerator and have it the next day. But after that, I pour it out because, well, for one thing, it's so easy to make fresh. For another, it's just going to taste better when it's fresh.
Now, is this tea or is this the barley you're talking about? Barley tea?
That can sit.
Okay.
That can sit in there. No
Okay.
problem. I'm talking about regular iced tea.
Regular iced tea. Yeah. Okay.
Or green tea.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I have to confess, I have started using stevia sweetener in our iced tea instead of sugar.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
I figure, wouldn't hurt to cut back on our sugar, and we drink a lot of iced tea here.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, there's a place where it might be simple and relatively painless to decrease the sugar. Well, my husband's never liked it super sweet anyway. And so we started doing that a few years ago, and it's fine. It tastes a little bit different, and you have to be careful not to put too much of that stevia in it, or it gets a weird flavor. But once you get used to it, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm taking
there's
notes.
all kinds of things you can do.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with stevia, of course, but I'll make a note of that. We might want to try that. That might be a good idea.
Just don't go overboard with it, because then it'll get a weird aftertaste.
No, you don't want that. Okay.
And of course, you can cook with iced tea.
Cook with iced tea. Okay.
Yes. You can. There are people brining chickens with iced tea, making barbecue sauce with iced tea. In my buttermilk cookbook, Buttermilk's Savor the South book, I have a sweet tea buttermilk pie.
Well, that's